American consumers have some extra money in their pockets these days, thanks to plummeting oil and gas prices. But not everyone is happy about it. OPEC, which controls some 40% of the world's oil exports, decided last month to cut its production by 1.5 million barrels a day. If that drives oil prices back up, OPEC nations like Saudi Arabia, Venezuela, and Iran would have more money to devote to their pet projects. For Iran, that could mean building up its nuclear program. Iran's oil minister said last month that, quote, the era of cheap oil is finished. When asked what price the Islamic regime would want for its oil, he replied, the more the better. OPEC's president is also urging non-member oil producers like Russia, Mexico, and Norway to cut their production too.
Iran and Venezuela are producing less today than they ever did, and yet they're making more money. Because in the oil market, when you produce less, you actually make more money.
Global security expert Annie Coren says that despite high demand, OPEC is actually producing less oil than it did 35 years ago.
Either they're lying about the reserves that they have, or they are deliberately constraining supply in order to keep prices very high. And it's working.
OPEC may not have to do anything to see oil and gas prices skyrocket. Osama Bin Laden has called on Qaeda to attack major oil targets and cause a global economic meltdown. During the 1990s, Bin Laden spoke against attacking oil targets in Saudi Arabia. He saw Saudi crude as a source of wealth for his planned Islamic caliphate. But as the years passed, he came to see oil as the key to crippling the world economy and weakening the United States.
In February of '06, Qaeda tried to attack Abqaiq, the largest oil production facility in the world in northeastern Saudi Arabia. Something like two-thirds of the world's two-thirds of Saudi oil goes through Abqaiq. Happily, they rigged their truck bomb wrong.
Former CIA Director James Woolsey is pushing to end America's dependence on foreign oil. He says that had the attack on Abqaiq been successful, the economic effects on the U.S. would have been devastating.
That would have probably taken something like 5 or 6 million barrels a day offline for well over a year, would have set oil up to well over $200 a barrel.
More than half of Saudi Arabia's oil reserves are found in 8 fields. In addition to Abqaiq, other terrorist targets there include Ghawar, the world's largest onshore oil field, and Ras Tanura, its largest offshore oil loading facility. Saudi Arabia is not alone. In recent years, terrorists have carried out hundreds of attacks against Iraqi oil pipelines. Attacks are increasing against OPEC member Nigeria, while Mexico's oil pipelines have also been targeted.
So terrorists have physically removed already almost 2 million barrels a day off of the global oil markets, an 85 million barrel a day oil market.
Oil-rich countries are stepping up security, but experts caution that's not enough. They say as long as America remains reliant on foreign oil, our enemies will use it to their advantage.
To protect our country, to defend our economy, and to enable us to really be able to prevail in this long war of the 21st century and not be blackmailed by all sorts of petro-dictators. What we need to do is break oil's monopoly. Right now we have no choice.
Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, Washington.